You're listening to the International I Do Crew podcast with Jen and Emma.
International.
I'm still on this because I've learnt today that we have a listener in the Dominican Republic.
We are spreading our roots, aren't we?
We're either spreading our roots or our current listeners are travelling and listening to us whilst on holiday, which is equally nice. Um, Please subscribe, like, rate, review our podcast on the platform that you listen to or watch us on. We really need that support and really appreciate all of you. So thank you so much for joining us this week. Just going to start off by saying that we've been asking on our Instagram stories over the last few weeks just for your wedding worries and dilemmas and questions that you've got in the build up to your wedding. So the next episode that we'll be recording next week will be just helping out one of our listeners who's been in touch with their wedding worry. But this week we are talking all things honeymoons. And I've prepared for you the top 10 honeymoon destinations.
Well, this will be nice because I'm currently sat in my office freezing. So I'm going to just listen to what you've got to say and just imagine myself there.
Do you want to guess what number one is?
I would probably say the Maldives.
Correct.
Yes. 10 points to me.
Closely followed by any guesses?
No. Maldives, slightly different island. Don't know.
The second one is no, not another island in the Maldives. It's the Caribbean.
Oh, just general Caribbean.
General Caribbean.
I mean, I wouldn't complain about going anywhere in the Caribbean, so
No.
yep, I can agree with that one.
I have a friend who's on a 2-week Caribbean cruise at the moment.
No. If you could see me now, I'm just like, right, cool, brilliant.
Hope you're having a nice time, Charmaine.
Good for you.
The next one is Greece. I presume that's like Mykonos, Santorini, etc. Probably not Falaraki.
Yeah. I used to live in Greece
Old
when I was a little girl.
real life Mamma Mia, aren't you?
Yeah, we were by Athens though, so it was like real Greece.
Was it boiling hot all of the time?
Yeah, I was young. All I can remember is because I was tanned, I had bright blue eyes and I had really blonde hair. And so all of the locals used to just think I was some kind of angel sent down from heaven. So I used to get given money in all the tavernas and it's absolutely brilliant.
Just because you had tan skin, blue eyes, and blonde hair?
Yeah, because it wasn't very common. Because they're all dark, aren't they? Because they sort of are made to be in the sun. And there I was, this little angel from heaven.
Oh, that's nice.
I think that's where my love from Greek food came from.
Oh, yes. You do love Greek food.
Yeah. I can smell a Slovakia from about 2 miles away and I'll hunt it down.
What's a Slovakia?
So it's like the lamb, the sort of oregano spiced sort of lamb in like a flatbread with tzatziki.
Oh, yes.
It's not gyro as such. I mean, you're not really supposed to have chips in it. It does add to it, the experience.
I do like it when they throw in some chips.
I know everything's better with chips, though, isn't it? Really.
True.
So Greece,
Yeah. Next one, Italy.
nice, sophisticated honeymoon.
I think also you can do Venice, you can do the lakes, you can do all the things that I've just come back from holiday doing.
Yeah, it's quite diverse, isn't it? There's some beach, there's some city, there's some mountains.
There's also lots of food.
Yeah.
Which obviously is my favourite. The
Lots
food
of
is
pasta.
the cappuccinos I could talk about till the end of time. Next one is Thailand.
Oh, that's cool. I wouldn't have expected that to be in the top 10.
Yep, Thailand. I think
That's nice.
because once you get there, I think it's pretty cheap.
Yeah. And it's cultural, isn't it? You're going to a really different culture, so
And I think it's a proper adventure.
mhm.
Next one, Africa.
Really?
And no specifics.
Safari.
Number one, two, three, four, five. Number 6, it just said Africa.
I would imagine that's sort of like safari, adventure camping. Do you think?
I don't know. I went straight to town, African town.
What,
What
like
do you-
a like you see on the telly with the children? Is that where you went?
Or like, I feel like I need to Google an African town and then let's just wait one sec because
I'm on WaterAid. That's oh, I'm the WaterAid adverts with the poor children.
oh no, I wasn't. I
You on
didn't
there?
quite go there. Let me look at maps. I was thinking more like what's Cape Town,
Oh, of course.
African cities. Nairobi, Cairo. Is Cairo? I thought Cairo
Egypt.
was that's in Egypt, so that's not. Is that in Africa? Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
We're good. We're good on our world map knowledge.
I guess if you go to Egypt and you go to Cairo, because isn't Cairo where the River Nile,
That's
you've
where the
got
pyramids and stuff are.
pyramids, you've got the Sphinx. That doesn't surprise me.
I would say that's Egypt.
Egypt is in Africa.
But Africa's massive.
Yep.
So are people going to Egypt or are they going on safari?
I think they're just going to Africa according to this Google list.
Just Africa.
Just Africa. But if you went to Cape Town, they have rotating cable cars that climb to the mountain's flat top. And from there are sweeping views of the city.
Wow. I mean, it would be lovely.
And also the notorious prison that once held Nelson Mandela.
Oh, I bet that's a good tour.
Nairobi,
I love
that's,
I love a prison tour.
yeah, me too.
I'm not sure it's honeymoon vibes, but
I went to a prison on, well, not actual prison, but I went on a prison tour on my honeymoon.
oh yeah, you did. Keep it alive, eh?
Keeping it alive. Yeah, so Nairobi, a large game reserve known for breeding endangered black rhinos and home to giraffes, zebras, and lions. So, yes, safari.
Sorry.
Lagos, that's in Nigeria. Uh, National Museum, cultural artifacts, Freedom Park, once colonial era prison.
Oh, I would definitely want to go on. Would want to go on safari.
You wouldn't want to go to Casablanca, the port city and commercial hub in Western Morocco.
I've been to Morocco. Lovely Morocco.
Morocco is in Africa.
Oh, I've been to Africa quite a few times then. I've been to
Um,
Egypt a few times. I've I've been to Morocco a few times.
so you can see why it is number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the list.
Yeah.
Shall we move on? Because I could probably Google Africa for the next 40 minutes if that would be helpful.
Well, it might be helpful for our knowledge bank, but maybe not do it on the podcast. Maybe we should just have a lesson.
True. I'll teach you about that after this.
Thank you.
Next is Mauritius.
Oh, nice.
So my sister is a couple of weeks away from having her honeymoon in Mauritius.
That's like a sort of like a relaxing spa treat type honeymoon, isn't it?
Similar vibes to Maldives, I presume.
Yeah. Cocktails on a sun lounger with the sun. Lovely.
And then swimming in the ocean,
Yes.
having some food.
You can do some snorkeling.
Next one is Seychelles.
Again, beautiful. That's a bit closer to home. That's a bit closer, isn't it, then? Let's not pretend like no
Do
geography.
you know where the Seychelles are, Em?
No idea.
Should I tell you where they are?
I think I should have opened a world map before we started.
Let me just get the globe. Oh, guess what? It's in East Africa.
I mean, Africa has got it going on, haven't they? Once you know what's in Africa,
Then you should go.
yeah. So the Seychelles, I've just Googled it. That's what kind of where you'd have like your beautiful beach holiday. You'd go canoeing in your clear bottom canoe to see all the beautiful animals in the sea.
I also did that on my honeymoon.
Wow. You're lucky, aren't you?
Yeah. Number 9, UK staycation.
Yeah, I think that's probably becoming more popular, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. And number 10, South Africa. No, I'm just kidding. It says South America.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a bit more of an adventure holiday, isn't it?
South America, yeah, because you're thinking, Peru, Inca Trail,
Yeah.
Lost City, all that jazz. Cartagena, which I'd love to go to.
Yeah.
That's where you're going. So yes, top 10 honeymoon destinations according to Google. I also had a look at some UK staycations because who doesn't like a mini moon?
Mini moon.
So some of the most searched for locations when it comes to UK staycation and UK honeymoon were Bath, London, Edinburgh, and Brighton. They were the top 4 locations that people choose when it comes to a staycation.
Which is good, which is funny, isn't it? Because they would be the places that I think for hen do's particularly as well. So that's a funny correlation. I don't suppose it means much, but
I think there's also lots to do in all 4 places.
they're different though, aren't they? Because Bath is a bit more historic, a bit more I would say like a slow, easy, just walk around type honeymoon. That London would be, there's so much you can do in London. It's, it's a bit more energetic, lots of more walking, do lots of different activities. Edinburgh, I think, is more of an outdoorsy type holiday. And then Brighton's a bit of a party honeymoon, isn't it? I would say.
And also there's loads of vegan, vegetarian food options and restaurants in Brighton. I didn't realise, but not just falafel. It's not just that. It's culinary deliciousness from a vegan and vegetarian perspective, even if it's not your vibes.
Yeah, that's good. So if you are a vegan couple, that will make that holiday, your honeymoon, easier, won't it? Because I can imagine if you are vegan, going out to eat is not that exciting, is it? Because you get 1 or 2 options on a menu. So then that's good to know.
Even when you look at the vegetarian options in different places, there's usually 1.
Yeah, and it's normally something mushroom, isn't it?
Mushroom, soup.
Yeah.
Very nice. I also pulled out 2 specific staycation suggestions. One of them I've been to, and the other one I wish I had been to. So one of them, I actually had my mini moon there. So we had 3 nights, I think, a couple of weeks after. That must have been quite a few weeks after our wedding. So we went there. It's a place in Bridport. It's called the Outbuildings, and they basically converted their derelict barns slash farm buildings and created new bougie accommodation lots. But they also, so when you arrive, you basically check in, you go to your accommodation, and they have a concierge service. So somebody meets you at your accommodation, depending on which one you've booked. They welcome you in, they show you around your place. There's also welcome items, so you get scones or cake or something like that, depending on what level of package you've booked. They also do drinks packages, so you can order a couple of cocktails to your room, depending on what you'd like. You can order breakfast to your room. You can. They also have a pop-up restaurant on site, so for a few nights a week. So you can book that. You can go to the restaurant on site. They bring in a chef. It's just a really nice family run bougie slash rustic experience. I'd
It's
highly recommend it.
yeah, it's the type of place, isn't it, that you have like a big roll top buff in your room, and
Yes.
everything's everything's just beautifully done.
And the two guys that run it, they're a couple, and they met each other while they were working as entertainers on cruise ships. So they've seen service from a cruise ship perspective and basically implemented everything that they learnt from their service on the cruise ship into their service at the outbuildings. And they love reusing, recycling, upcycling different items, different units that they already had on site, creating. They also have an indoor cinema experience that you can book. They've got a hot tub experience that you can book. There's just so many different pockets of things that you can do, and you don't even have to step off site. But equally, if you do, there's so many cute little foodie places in Bridport, loads of places for dog walking. Although when we went dog walking, our dog Callie tried to take her own life by jumping off a cliff. Luckily, she did not. So if you are going cliff walking, I suggest putting your dog on a harness and not a slip lead, because she slipped out of it and nearly died. You can also have takeaway delivered to the outbuildings. So if you didn't want to go to the restaurant, if you didn't want to cook yourself, then you can also have takeout delivered. If you just want a couple of days downtime with your new partner, your new husband, your new wife, it honestly, I'd highly recommend it. You can't go wrong. It is a little more expensive maybe because you're paying for the concierge service, you're paying for the location, you're paying for your hot tub or your bath or your whatever amenities you've got in your room, but it's special. It's a special occasion, which is where you want to go really. The second one was the Tawny Hotel, which has been on my list for quite a long time. So this is again, you could call it bougie, spa hotel in the Midlands. The address says Stoke-on-Trent, but I'm not quite sure if it is Stoke-on-Trent because it's just sort of to the west, quite far west. But you can take your dog, you can stay for a couple of nights, you can stay for one night, you can stay for a nice long weekend, spa facilities, they've got a restaurant on site. Again, it's a special occasion kind of place that you're going to go to, and relaxing, romantic vibes.
Yeah. Looks like it's in really nice grounds as well, so you don't have to. There's a big lake and stuff, isn't there? So you can
Yeah.
walk around that.
You don't have to go anywhere if you don't want to, for
I
both of
love
these
that kind of
places.
place, especially if you're just going for a couple of days. You don't always want to be like, off we go to this place and let's do this. Sometimes you just want to have a bit of a chilled, lazy one where you just put your wellies on and have a little walk round and then go back and have a nap. And
I love nap time.
yeah, that's what it's all about.
What did you do for your honeymoon, Em?
So this is ridiculous, really, but I didn't have one. So
For those of you that cannot see me, I'm raising my eyebrows.
we had all of the good intentions of after the wedding, booking something, and we needed to wait and save up some money because all of our money had been put into the wedding. So we knew we weren't going to be going on holiday straight, like on honeymoon straight away. And then we never really got to it. And then by the time our next holiday came around, it was a bit late to call it a honeymoon. It was just like a summer holiday. The couple of days after the wedding, the night of the wedding, Jordan had booked us into this really cute. They were like little barns that had been converted, so it was like a little independent room. But we stayed one night there, and then we went to another hotel for the next night, which was like the oldest hotel in Britain. But that was it really, and it wasn't really honeymoon vibes. It was just a nice night away. It wasn't.
Where was that?
I knew you were going to ask this, and I asked Jordan, and he was like, I can't remember. So
Roughly?
the little place that he booked was by our wedding venue, and we got married in Wiltshire. We got married in Winterbourne Stoke, and it was like a 10-minute drive, so it must have been in Winterbourne Stoke somewhere. And then the oldest hotel in Britain, I think, was more towards Bath way, but I've really forgotten what it's called. I booked it, thinking, oh, this would be cool, but it was a bit crap, really. I wouldn't recommend it. It was a bit old. It wasn't like cute oldest hotel in Britain. It was like old.
Was it the same decor as when they started?
Pretty much. I think it's called the Old Bell.
At Malmesbury.
That's the one. That's it.
The hotel dates from 1220.
It was fine. It was just old.
Did it have the same mattresses as it did in 1220?
So yeah, I think the mattresses were fine, but there was like a little sofa with a coffee table and everything in the room. And you know when you sit on it and it's like just springs, it was like that. But we were only there for a night, and we were so tired after the wedding that we didn't really take anything in. We were just like little sleeping, and so yeah, we didn't really have one, which is sad.
What was your summer holiday after then?
I think we went, well, we booked to go to Cape Verde. We wanted to go and see the wildlife, but didn't realise that you have to take malaria tablets. And if anyone knows me, they know I can't take tablets. I can't take even the smallest of tablets. So we then cancelled that, and we had credit with the tour operator. So we went to Cape Verde. We booked somewhere else. I'm great at telling a story. Just
That was a great story. So you did end up going?
We went to Cape Verde, the place where you don't have to take malaria tablets. Where were we going to go? Somewhere quite out there, because we thought, oh, this would be quite cool to go. But anyway, we didn't go there. We went to Cape Verde, but that was like 2.5 years after our wedding. Maybe 2.
Really?
Yeah. Cape Verde's brilliant, by the way. If you don't mind authentic sort of places where it's not geared for tourists so much, it's really good. We saw baby turtles hatching out of the sand and walking to the water and stuff. It was really nice. There's some really good sort of like excursions you can do. But yeah, 2.5 years after, can't really call that a honeymoon, can you?
I mean, I probably still would have. Oh, it's our honeymoon, yes.
Well, that is a trick. That is a trick, isn't it? That is one thing I was going to say on this podcast is don't be shy about telling the airport, telling the air hostesses, telling your hotel, telling everybody that it's your honeymoon because they will do extra special things.
Mm.
You won't always get upgraded, but they might give you a bottle of wine, or they might, you know, give you a bit of cake for free or something.
Well, I've got a few hacks for that. But Cape Verde was where Ian and I went for our first holiday together as a couple. I don't know
Yeah,
why I said as a couple, because why else would we be going? Um, and the first sort of 5 days, it was for my birthday. The first 5 days were really, really good. We did one of the excursions, which was they basically took you on an island tour,
yeah,
but I think my expectations were a little bit higher than what the island tour was actually about. And then you finished up at the salt mine, which was really nice because it was like a natural spa. So you got to swim in the salt lakes, and that was
yeah,
lovely. But the island tour started with a trip to, it's called the Something Eye, which basically you can only see at a certain point of the tide. So you look down into this cave, and where the sun hits on the sea, it creates like this beautiful blue lagoon style.
yeah. I
Um,
remember that.
they hadn't timed that quite right, so that wasn't as it was sold. We then went to see a mirage,
Yeah, we went to see that too.
and
How
it
do you remember
was
all this stuff?
because it was quite a memorable holiday. The mirage was there, but it was like 700 degrees, and there was no water as part of the tour. So Ian bought one of the most delicious sprites I've ever had in my life for something like £10 at the shop at the mirage.
Yeah,
They then took you through a shanty town,
yep,
um, where the children all run up to the bus and try to get money and stuff. They then took us to is it the radar tower or something similar? It's basically like their communication tower for the whole island, and you basically walk around the outside of that.
yeah.
Then they took us for lunch in this heated roof location. It's really hot. The food was questionable. Um, so didn't eat that, and then held out till the salt lakes because I really wanted to do that. That was the only reason why we did the excursion, really. But then on the
Did you get in? Because you have to go
oh
through
yeah,
like a cave thing. Did you go through the cave thing and then get into the salt lake?
no, this was more like a there was no caves. It was sort of spa vibe setup. So you had men's changing rooms, female changing rooms. I don't think you were given robes or slippers or anything. You had to take all of your own stuff, but it was quite well presented from that perspective in and around the natural salt lakes. And
Mm.
then
We must have done a different one because ours we went up into like we had to climb through the caves, and you have to climb through down into like down into the cave, and then you literally just take your clothes off, put it on the rock, and you jump in, and then you get out. There's no like it's not it's not a sort of thing.
mhm,
Our tour guide, there was only three of us, three couples on our tour, so I think he just took us to the places that he knew.
mhm.
It was pretty cool.
Then we celebrated my birthday. The hotel was stunning. It was marketed as 5 star, but in the UK you're probably looking at 3 or 4 star, closer 3.5, I'd say. But really nice, really clean. My birthday came, opened my presents, had a great day. We decided to go outside of the hotel for dinner. Don't know why, because they didn't advise that, but we did. Went to this beachside restaurant, decided to go all out and ordered lobster. I was halfway through mine. I'd eaten one half and got to the second half, and it was raw,
Oh,
and
that's it.
it didn't taste as it should have. And I said to Ian, does yours taste okay? He'd basically finished his already. He'd eaten the whole thing. He was like, yeah, why? Yeah, mine didn't taste quite right. He was like, oh, it'll be fine, blah, blah, blah. the next day we both woke up very, very ill.
Oh, oh God.
Very ill. To the point where, so this is, your new boyfriend, you want to, appear, at your
Together.
best at all times. You don't want to be in an uncomfortable, very ill situation together, because you're still in your honeymoon phase as a couple, and it's all very new, and we hadn't been together for that long either. And I think I was sick as well as the other end. Ian was coping with it just through his bowels. Um, and he ended up shitting himself, basically, and little droplets were on the hotel carpet. They had like these rugs either side of the bed, and he ended up just rolling up the rug and putting it into the hotel wardrobe, closing the door on the wardrobe, and then we left the room for our flight home. But if you have, so we saw a doctor because we were extremely ill, see if they could prescribe anything. They didn't have anything that they could prescribe. You'd have to go to a pharmacy just to get run-of-your-mill D&V kind of
Mhm.
medication. If they knew that I had been sick, they wouldn't have let me on the flight home. We'd requested seats right at the back of the plane so that we were close to the toilet. When we arrived at the airport, the flight was 4 hours delayed.
That is exactly what you want, isn't it?
It was just, I'm not going to go into too much detail because Ian will kill me if I give the full story. But let's just say I saw more than I wanted to. That holiday obviously went down in comical history in our relationship. And Ian didn't move from his seat the entire flight because he was worried that he was going to shit himself again. So,
That's awful. I mean, going anywhere that's not really, really tourist led. Like we're quite, as Brits are, we're quite sensitive because we're not exposed to different types of food or slightly dodgy food, so we get ill quicker.
yeah, and I had some tests done when we came back because I was really ill for months afterwards, and things weren't right for a good 6 to 8 weeks after we came home from holiday. And they had to alert the National Health Board because it was this outrageous disease that I'd contracted from in my stomach and blah blah blah. But we complained to the holiday company and ended up getting a 50% refund on the whole holiday.
Well, every cloud has a silver lining.
Yeah. Also lost a stone in that time. So
So my Cape Verde experience, we weren't ill. We got a little bit. We got when you get a little bit queasy, and you're not so ill that you can't do anything, but I think that's just the water and the heat and everything like that.
mhm,
Just bad luck, I think, wasn't it, Jen?
pretty bad luck, yeah.
Don't eat lobster from a random beachside cafe.
Never again. And I'm just very cautious anywhere these days. Even if it's a five-star restaurant, I'm still like, did they cook these prawns properly?
Any kind of seafood is probably your worst bet, isn't it?
It's just my favourite thing though,
I know. Stick to the vegetables.
blessing and a curse all rolled into one. Do you think you'd do a honeymoon now? Or do you think the moment's
Well,
passed?
if I was getting married now, I would prioritize some of the budget and put it into a honeymoon and make sure that it's pre-planned. Because the reason it didn't happen, not really because of the money, is that once you get out of that bubble of the wedding, life then takes over and you're back in the run of work and your weekend obligations and work. And then before you know it, you're 2 years out.
Mhm.
So I would definitely make sure that something was booked, even if it was just a week, in Edinburgh or something. But we just never got to it. So yeah, I would definitely go.
Mm.
I'd want to do the Maldives type thing.
Oh, you can still do that and just pretend it's your honeymoon.
Yeah, maybe when for our 10-year anniversary or something. Which
10-year
isn't that far
anniversary,
away.
2 weeks in the Maldives.
Yeah.
Just get a load of just married merchandise.
Wifey.
I still use my so I bought Ian as part of his honeymoon present, um, matching Mr. and Mrs. passport holders because I thought if we're handing our passports over to the hotels, to the airline, blah blah blah, they would be like, "Oh, these are nice oh well, it's because we're on our honeymoon." And then you might get a cheeky little upgrade, or
Did
here's
it
a photo.
work?
No. Um, so we did a mini moon in the UK, so 3 nights at the outbuildings in Bridport, and then we did 4 weeks in America the following July. So we got married in the September, and then did 4 weeks in America the following July/August. And I basically wanted to manifest an upgrade on the airline on the flight out because it was a 16-hour flight to our first location in America. Manifested it for months because I thought this is what's going to make it happen. But I didn't manifest in the upgrade too. So I had this screensaver picture of me, well, my photoshopped head on somebody else's body in first class. Made sure I wore a similar outfit to the girl in the picture, and just completely forgot about my new husband. Um, but when we checked into the airport, there was an issue with checking our bags, so that took an hour and a half, something ridiculous like that, before we'd even gone through security, etc. Um, so we're running a little bit late. We then had a quick something to eat, and then they were already calling us to go to the gate to board the plane, blah blah blah. So we'd had these tickets. I was devastated because my manifestation hadn't worked, but still holding out a little bit of hope. So I thought there's still time for them to tell me to turn left instead of right when I step on the plane.
Yeah.
Um, and then we were one of the last people to be called to board the plane, which was irritating in itself. Um, so literally in probably like in the last group of 4 people to go through the boarding gate onto the plane, and she looked at my ticket, basically said to me, "Well, you're not going to need that anymore." Tore it up. I was like, "Oh, what?" And then gave me a new ticket, which was my upgrade. Ian had also had the same situation as well, but it wasn't quite business or first class. It was just an upgrade from economy to Premier World Traveller Plus or something, which is the next one up from economy. So
Basically in the same thing, you just get a little bit of extra leg room, don't you?
you get a bigger seat, and when you recline your chair, you get this little footrest that pops out. So it is more of a reclining experience, and it's better food in premium economy.
Okay.
Um, it was worth every manifestation day. But I think because I didn't quite get to business class in the manifestation because I didn't include in that. I think that's where I went wrong.
Yeah.
But then we spent
Next time, Jane.
yeah, next time. But then we spent 4 weeks traveling around America, which was a proper adventure. I mean, it wasn't. We probably had the most time we had in one location was 6 days, and that was in Lake Tahoe. Basically everywhere we went, something went wrong. So it wasn't this magical honeymoon experience that I thought it was going to be. It was still one of mine and Ian's holidays where there is always some sort of catastrophe that happens. Um, but it was just an unforgettable experience.
Yeah. What was your highlight?
Um, I would probably say the original Starbucks store in Pike Place in Seattle. I'm a huge Starbucks fan,
I
so
was going to say you might need to tell people why that is probably your highlight, because for
it
most people they would be thinking, great, that's cool.
when I between the ages of maybe 22 and 26, I worked at Starbucks as a supervisor and really bought into the concept of world-class customer service. It was ingrained in your skin, in your training, and in everything that we lived and breathed. It was all about world-class customer service and building really good relationships with those customers that you see all the time, and also new customers. And I just really saw the value in that ethos. And then I worked at Costa and really understood how different Starbucks is, and controversial in the UK because most people are like, oh, I love Costa. You wouldn't love Costa if you could see how the baristas make your coffee, because they oversteam the milk. I'm telling you that now. They will oversteam it so that it's burnt, so that they can then just make 5 or 6 lattes in one row and you'll get burnt milk that you're drinking. It's not how it's supposed to be, guys. Whereas Starbucks, a lot less can go wrong because the barista machine is more automated. So the temperature of the milk is controlled because you just press the steam button.
Yeah.
And then the skill lies within the barista to steam the milk in a certain way for the drink, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I could talk about this for the next 45 minutes. So yeah, so that's been on my bucket list for a really long time. I never thought I'd get there, to the Pike Place Starbucks store, and it was honestly more magical than I could ever imagined. I also really liked Lake Tahoe because it was really chill, less people, outdoorsy. We did lots of hiking, we did lots of walking, we did lots of on the water stuff. That's where we did the clear bottom kayak thing. Um, what else did we do? We ended up in New York. We've basically ate my way around New York, all the different restaurants that have been on my list for quite a while. Um, Vegas, that was really fun. It's just, I also enjoyed the driving.
Yeah.
I had to, really, because Ian isn't very good at mountain driving. So if the road is slightly too close to the edge of a cliff, his palms get sweaty. He's literally like verging over to the edge of the cliff. He just can't do it because he gets
I
into
mean,
panic
I
mode.
can I can understand that. I can't. I'm not very even good at being a passenger in them kind of situations because my brain just goes to mortal danger, death in an instant. It's like Final Destination.
Yeah, I think that's where Ian's brain goes, and that's why he's just like literally holding on to the wheel for dear life, and then he's holding on so hard that his palms are getting sweaty. Then he has to wipe it on his trouser. I'll just drive for the next 8 hours because it'll just be easier than this.
Yeah, him having a heart attack every corner.
Yeah, literally, that's what was happening. What advice would you give to somebody who's planning their honeymoon?
Well, the big one for me would be pre-book it. If it's a really important thing for you, make sure that you book it in advance of the wedding so that you've also it doesn't have to be straight after the wedding, but just book it as part of that wedding planning, otherwise it might not ever happen. um Tell everybody it's your honeymoon because you never know what little special treats you might get. I would say plan some special things to do, whether that is an excursion or whether that is a spa, a spa afternoon, or going to the Starbucks because you've always wanted to do that. Like,
Hmm.
make sure that you plan a few of them little things in, because for me, just sitting by a pool for 10 days isn't, I mean, that might be somebody's idea of heaven, but it's not memorable. For me, memories come from them kind of excursiony type things. So I'd make sure you plan a couple of them, and don't it it's got the word honeymoon because it's supposed to be your first holiday as a couple, but it's not like that anymore. But it is just another holiday. You might do some extra special things, so things do go wrong. So don't expect like it all to be like sunflowers and rainbows, and you're going to get upgraded here and you're going to do this and everything's good. You're not going to argue, and you're not going to get bored sat opposite each other at your fifth restaurant, because it is just a normal holiday. So don't like don't put it on a pedestal, because I think you might be a bit disappointed.
Yeah, I think that's what I did, because then I was heartbroken when something went wrong every single location that we went to.
Yeah. And you wouldn't be that heartbroken if it was your like your normal run of the mill holiday.
Mm.
But because it's called a honeymoon and it needs to be this romantic and loving and special place, don't put it on a pedestal, because you'll get upset if things go wrong, and inevitably they will.
I would also say that, to your point about the special moment bucket list, if there's somewhere that you and your partner have always wanted to go, I think now is the time to do that for your
Yeah,
honeymoon, because you can really, things that you might not necessarily pay extra for. So if, like you said, if there was like a day or treatment at the spa at the hotel, you've got a perfect excuse to just be like, fuck it,
yeah,
I'll spend £120 on this 45-minute facial because I'm on my honeymoon.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm going to order a glass of, no, I'm going to order the bottle because
Yeah,
I'm on my honeymoon.
it comes slightly guilt-free, doesn't it?
100%.
But on that, I would also say set a budget,
Hmm.
because you could get there and, the hotels and stuff always try and upsell you this excursion and this experience, and oh, why don't you come? If you know you've got a set amount to spend, make sure that you don't want to go in debt for your honeymoon.
Absolutely not.
You don't want to go in debt for your wedding or your honeymoon. Set budgets and stick to them. And if your budget for your honeymoon is just a weekend away in Bath, do that, and then do something, go out for a really nice meal, and
Hmm.
then that's fine as well. You don't want to go into debt for it, because it is just a holiday.
I agree. Um, but speaking of Thailand, so if you wanted to do like an adventure holiday on a budget, if you're one of those people that can just let things go to chance in the moment, you can book your flights to Thailand, book a hotel into wherever you're flying into. But then when you start island hopping, they have hotel scouts on the pontoon as you get off the boats selling the hotel rooms at these luxurious hotel locations for half the price of what you would have booked it if you'd booked it ahead online. So if you
Yeah,
can take that risk and feel, I mean, I'm saying it as like it makes me feel uncomfortable even thinking about it because I'm not one of those people that would be able to do that. But if you are sort of easygoing, not too bothered where you're staying, as long as you're staying on the specific island, you literally hop off and they'll be there touting for your business, trying to outdo the other one on the cheapest hotel price. And that sometimes is the best way to do it.
yeah. Have you seen them? I think it's a fairly new concept, but I think they're called Journey or something. And you go online, you register with them, you tell them who's going on holiday, what you kind of like, and then they tell you to be at Manchester Airport at 6 a.m. on this date, and then you go there, and then they give you an envelope, and then it tells you where you're going. I mean, if you're quite adventurous, that would be quite a fun thing to do, I think.
I literally have anxiety as you're talking about it because that kind of lack of control
Yeah.
is not comfortable for me.
No, I would say I would have thought that I would feel like that too, but I'm not very good at that. Like planning holidays and things for me is not really my bag. If somebody's there doing it for me, I'm quite happy to just go with the flow. And if somebody says, "Oh, let's go here," I'm like, "Yeah, cool." So I think getting an envelope would be quite exciting. My
Maybe you should
main
tell.
fear is like, have I packed a bikini, or do I need my ski clothes?
I think you can select the climate that you're looking for,
Yeah,
and then they just say you're off to Bora Bora for 2 weeks.
yeah. Because you select your climate, you select what you like doing, you select your budget.
Hmm.
So I mean, you could just do that. Let somebody else plan it for you.
That fills me with dread.
Yeah, not for everyone, but might be for some. Or if it's a last minute thing and you're thinking, oh, I haven't done anything, Or if you're a groom and your partner's expecting you to have arranged it and you haven't, you could just do that, and then you could say, "Look what I've done, isn't it? This is exciting experience I've planned for you."
I think that would be nice if your budget is sort of and you're looking for European city break, something like that. It's perfect for that.
Yeah. So there you
Um,
go.
I will have anxiety about the surprise, you're going here in 10 minutes. I just can't.
No,
Too much
I'll
control freak.
cancel that for your next birthday. Shall I?
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, thanks. Just why don't you and George use it as your surprise honeymoon? Um,
Excuse me.
that's it for this weekend. Please like, subscribe, rate, review our podcast on whatever platform you listen or watch us on. Just a massive thank you to everyone who joins us every week. We love having you listening to our podcast and feeding in through our Instagram account. If you want to keep up to date with podcast news, follow our Instagram account at the I Do Crew podcast and send us your dilemmas or questions. Next week, we're talking all things wedding ready, which is something that one of our listeners got in touch with, just something that they're worrying about. And we will also be joined by a very special guest. But until then, it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me.
You've been listening to the I Do Crew podcast with Jen and Emma. Keep up to date with our podcast news by following our I Do Crew podcast Instagram account. Thanks for listening.